sometimes you just want to have your phone on your bike. Let's talk about it. Hey guys, Salty Flyer, welcome back to the channel. So today I got a product that I'm looking at that was just something I kind of on a whim picked up because I don't know that I need it per se, but I think a lot of people might be interested. A lot of people might already have it. But it was, how do you mount your phone to your bike in such a way that you can use it? So I went and did a little research and I came up with Quadlock. So we're gonna review a Quadlock system today. So basically it is, you pick how you wanna mount it to your bars, you pick what kind of phone you have, you go to their website and they walk you through it. So the first thing you're gonna need is a case. That's like step one in the system. So this is the Quadlock mag case. So as you can see, this is my iPhone 15 Pro. It is pretty sleek, pretty premium. They have a cheaper version, which is their standard case. This fits with more accessories and it's a little sleeker and it's a little just a premium. It's kind of a soft touch black matte feel. Buttons all work. It's a nice case. It's honestly, I like it better than my old case. So that's step one. Step two is you need to figure out how are you going to mount it. And they've got a ton of options on their website. So you can do handlebar mounts, which is probably the simplest. Mirror mounts, so mirror stems, so real thin ones that can mount. If you have mirrors like I have on the bike, you could mount it to your mirrors. You could mount it to your brake reservoir, like they replace the lid, the top cap on that with one that has a mounting bracket in it. You can do fat bars, do really thick fat bars, which I think are probably more useful. You can mount it to any number of different things. So I think it's pretty good. I opted for the handlebar mount because it's the simplest, it's the easiest. And then you got to figure out what your accessories you're going to get are. So first thing you'll get in the box is, well, you got your case, will be one of your mounting brackets. So this is the bracket. It's literally just a clamp. And in the box, you'll see there's a whole bunch of different little, hard to see in here, but there are a whole bunch of little rings in there, which allow you to size this down. They're inserts into this clamp that allow you to size it down from this size, which is 1.25 inches, which is the biggest bars you can fit with this clamp, all the way down to 7/8 of an inch. So now you're starting to get into bicycle mounts, which by the way, you could very easily do this if you had a bicycle, you had a mountain bike and you had a motorcycle and you wanted to get two clamps, one case, you could move it back and forth pretty fluidly. But one note, if you do the whole, hey, I have a big manly bike, measure your handlebars, because these look like pretty beefy, burly bars. They're 1.25 inches. If you get the 1.5 inches, the big man bar size, you're just gonna end up probably having something that doesn't fit unless you absolutely have 1.5 inches or bigger bars. Like I said, most of the time, what I've read, people use that for like down tubes on side-by-sides and such. Then your next option is going to be, what kind of accessories do you want? There's two main ones. One I didn't get, one I did. So the one I didn't get is a wireless charging puck. So you can put that inline in the whole system. You'll watch me assemble it in a minute here. And when you do that, you'll be able to run a wire to it. It's wireless to your phone, but obviously there's a wire. You'd run it to an accessory cable port on your bike. And then when you dock your phone to your bars, it would wirelessly charge. That one I didn't do because I quite frankly, don't have a real elegant solution for running that wire up and through, and it's not worth it. If I want to charge my phone, I'll just plug it in and put it in the drawer on my bike. But it's totally an option, especially if you have a bike that has that kind of accessory port right there. Pretty easy. The other one, which I did get, is this little guy right here. And this little guy right here is a vibration damper, because your phone is full of cameras, and those cameras are full of very delicate electronics. That's how they were able to do when you're walking, how to stabilize it, image stabilization, all that tech that used to be on multi tens of thousands of dollar cameras going to the moon is now on your cell phone. It don't like getting vibrated too much. But Salty, I hear you say, what about me just putting my phone in that drawer or in the cubby on the Road Glide? Isn't it getting around? Yeah, and to be honest, that's not great, but it's tolerable because the case gives it a little protection. The fact that it's loose and bouncing around gives it protection. There's a rubber mat in there, so it's not as damaging. If you hard bolt it with this attachment system directly to your bars with nothing in between it, every vibration will be directly hard transferred to the chassis of your phone and it will shake it apart. It potentially could. So cheap insurance there to get that. You'll put that in line and that will get you set up. So as you can see, I've already put the case on the phone. So now let's get up to the part where we mount it up to the bike. I mean, this one is really, really straightforward. It includes in the kit your little cheapy Allen key, but I've got it's a 3mm hex, hex. It's a 3mm hex. I got my T-handle out because, dude, that's just the way to do business. I got the Craftsman T-handles and they're the business. So let's jump over the bike and take a look, see what we're doing. So first things first, you have to pick which side you're gonna mount it up to. I've decided I'm gonna go to the right-hand side. My theory is that, I got my hand on the throttle, I can reach over with my left hand, without having to put the cruise control on. You could move it onto your left side if you want to do something different, but I'm mounting it on here. So the next thing you're gonna have to do is, this is the clamp right here. You see this guy here? So what you're gonna do is figure out how you want it aligned. So your bars aren't gonna be perfectly straight. And if you can see in here, there's little teeth. I've loosened up a little bit. There's little teeth. If you loosen this 3mm, you loosen that 3mm right there, there is little teeth, and you can see them up here on this part where the next piece will mount onto, that allow you to ratchet it by, tenth of a millimeter each time. That'll allow you kind of to fine tune it where if it's not perfectly up and down off of the bar, you'll be able to get it mounted. So let's get this on there with this little rubber ring in there and then go to the next step. So you can see he's now mounted on there. If you pull back a little bit, you can see kind of the angle. So now you have to figure out, hey, rotationally, how far forward or back do you want? And you're probably gonna have to loosen this and mess with it once you get it mounted up, but we're just gonna get it on there now, dry fit. So the next piece you're gonna put on is going to be, this guy here, which is the shock damper. So it's kind of an interesting piece. There's a little screw in there, you can see at the bottom, and there's this hollow threaded bit, and inside that threaded bit there is the screw head. So you're gonna need a longer key. I'm just gonna put this on. I don't think it matters. It's got that rotational piece there, those little teeth that'll lock in there. So that'll fit into there like that. And then the mounting bracket will fit onto it. So let's get that guy mounted in and we'll get the next piece in. So next, we got this little guy right here. This is the part that you mount it to. So you'll see on here, you can see that kind of 4-point shape right there. That corresponds to, I'm not gonna pick it up right now, you'll see it in a second. That corresponds to the socket on the back of the phone. So how this mounts up in the 12 o'clock position, that's gonna be the top of your phone. So you're like, oh, that looks straight. Yeah, except if I'm sitting this way on the bars, that's crooked. So I'm gonna probably rotate that a couple of notches. Remember, it's got that little tooth thing right there that goes around. So I'm gonna plug that in and rotate that a couple of notches so I can get it kind of perpendicular to the ground, and then we'll bolt that up, and then I'll show you how to mount up the bar in just a second. So now we've got it mounted up. Took a little bit of futzing with it, and you can see here that it definitely wobbles a little bit, and that's by design. That's that vibration dampener. You can see this little push lever. That's how you're gonna mount it up. So how are we gonna mount it? You're gonna take your phone, and you can see on the back, it's got the same socket that matches that piece right there. So what you're gonna do, I'll see if I can do this one-handed with the phone, with the camera, is you wanna go 45 degrees, push in, and then you're gonna turn it. And if you wanna go this way, clicks in, and you'll see it that way. Otherwise, if you want to, you can go the other way, and you can rotate it the 45 degrees the other way, and now you've got it in landscape. Yeah, those are my kids. They're cute, aren't they? It's an old picture. Just be aware, you gotta push down that lever. So when it's landscape, it's a little hard to get that lever off. But see, once you get it on there, I'll do one more time. It's a little fidgety once you figure out the angle. Clicks in there. It's free to vibrate, but it's not going anywhere. We'll go test that out and we'll take a look-see, but that's not going anywhere. And yeah, I have my phone in military time. I'm institutionalized. Sorry. Let's give it a ride and see what happens. Okay, to the Magic Television, we're back. And yeah, that thing up to 80 plus on the freeway, didn't vibrate a bit. It's really, it's solidly on there, did all the work, looks real good. So, good product. There is Loctite on there. I'm thinking about, for me, potentially, we'll talk a little bit more about use cases, but if you want to take it on or off, what I might do is replace that bottom flush fit hex bolt with something from a GoPro that's got like a thumb wheel on it that's the same size bolt. That way I can just twist it on and off without having to bust out some kind of tool. Over to you for that. So let's wrap up. Hi, Business Salty here to interrupt our video. So YouTube has a thing called a partner program. I am not affiliated with any products. I have no sponsorships whatsoever. I bought this Quadlock product through my own money. However, they are an advertiser on YouTube. So if you like this video and you said, hey Salty, I want to buy one of those things, you will see somewhere down there, around, you will see a little button appear on your screen now-ish, hopefully, that says products. If you click on that, these products will be available. If you buy them, click through and purchase them that way, it will literally cost you not a penny more, but you will actually get a little bit of a kickback goes to your boy here from YouTube to help keep the lights on here at Salty Flyer Industries. And as always, we do this for the love of the game, man, so no obligation. If you don't want to, no harm, no foul. Back to the video. Okay, so final thoughts, wrap up here. Just kind of, who's it for? First of all, it's a great product. It does everything that's on the tin. So like it holds on there, it didn't move, it didn't bounce, it kept your phone exactly where you could see it. Great idea, great product. If you are a Softail rider or anyone without a screen and you want to have navigation, I mean, it's a no-brainer. You probably already have a smartphone. If you have Bluetooth, now you've got earbuds or a Cardo, now you got a music system, you've got a nav system, you got turn-by-turn in your head, it's kind of a no-brainer. Pick a smart way to mount it and you'll figure it out from there. If you have an older bike with a screen, like a Boom GTS, and maybe you don't like the nav on that, or maybe you don't do CarPlay, or you don't do Android Auto, and you just want to do something, or you just, hell, I don't like any of those things, I just want to do it off my phone, great, easy day. If you're an Android Auto person and you can't get that working, I am an Apple fanboy, unfortunately, I know, chuck your spears, but because of that, I've always had success with Apple CarPlay, but I've heard that Android Auto can be a bit twitchy. Then it's there. For me, unfortunately, I've got the Jumbotron here. I got the big screen TV at Yankee Stadium, and our CarPlay works. So what is it for me that I'm going to get out of this? Well, there's two things I think that you can do from your phone that you can't do via CarPlay, the way I have it set up, and over to you whether or not you should be doing them. First is text messages. You can see the text message pops up on CarPlay, but because I'm not running a Cardo or not running any kind of in-ear thing with a microphone, if I tap it, it just gets quiet for a time. It's actually reading my text message through the Siri voice down to the little Madehawk thing in there, which is just a fooler, which is just convincing it that I have a microphone, so you don't hear anything. So there, I could read my text messages, look at the handlebars, and read my text messages. Now, realize you probably have a helmet on, which means face unlock ain't gonna work. So now I'm swipe up, passcode, scroll, tap, read. Use case dependent, maybe you do it, maybe you don't. You kind of play that by ear. The other one is, hey, I can't enter in navigation destinations. I can do voice, but I don't have a microphone because I don't have a Cardo. So I can't just speak, hey, I wanna go blah, blah, blah. And the keyboard is disabled. And on your screen, you could sit there and just go on any of the navigation apps, go, hey, I'm a passenger, and type it into your heart's content. Should I be typing things in when I'm riding? Probably not. I should probably pull over. But those are things you can do. Other than that, I didn't find myself using it nearly as much as just using CarPlay, because CarPlay is kind of designed and laid out. And on the new bikes, the hand controls, I know everybody hates the new hand controls. Get used to them, give them a chance. They actually work pretty good. They moved your volume and stuff over to the right-hand controller, which I know was very unpopular because they figure you're going to be doing a lot more manipulating of screens on this one with your left hand, which is a lot easier because you're not on the throttle with it. So they had to make a trade-off. So that's what it is. So will I use it? I will probably end up using it on long road trips because I do like having my phone. You know, family situation, I like to be able to know, hey, if this is a text message like, holy shit, turn around now, not wait an hour till I get to a gas station to read it. I'll probably do it on longer road trips like that because I think it's pretty useful. A caveat is that your phone isn't any more waterproof in the Quadlock case than it is not in the Quadlock case. So if you're out in the rain, they do sell a thing they call a poncho. I did not purchase one, but it is a thing that you put on there. It's sort of like a rain condom for your phone that will protect it if it's mounted up to the bars and you get in the rain and the weather. So if it's your primary nav function source and you're gonna go on an all-weather ride, then yeah, you probably wanna have that. For me, if it starts raining, I'm just gonna pop it off, open the drawer, deposit it in there, and it's relatively well protected. But that's another thing to consider. So Quadlock, great product, happy with it. I will probably use it sparingly, but that's my specific use case. But trust me, it does exactly what it says in the box. So good to go there. Before we wrap up, we're gonna get bonus content. This is a real short one. I didn't want to do a whole video on this, but I didn't. So if you look back on the back of my bike there, you will see, and I'll get B-roll of this with the GoPro. But you'll see the spike fin, the spiky Sissy bar, my son calls it, the dinosaur tooth or something like that. I'm personally a fan of, I think it's a Hogworks product, well made. I think it's the Dominator, Penetrator, Innovator, something. I'll put it on the screen. I forget what it's called. But it looks bitchin', and the old lady liked it, except for the fact that it came initially mounted with this. This was the backrest. It has the aesthetics of, I don't know, a piece of the space shuttle, and it's about as hard. It doesn't give. It's basically, my wife was like, this thing looks cool, but it's like having a cinder block jammed into the center of my back. In fact, on a trip we were on, she actually took a sweatshirt that she bought from a place we stopped at and tied it around the dang Sissy bar so that she could have a little padding in there. So this obviously had to go. Hogworks listened, and they came up with it, and now they've got this guy right here, which I'll show you in video here, is much softer and squishier, and it has stitching in many colors. So I got the red diamond stitch pattern, which matches pretty closely to, not exactly, but very close enough for government work, to my Saddleman road sofa. So I love it when a company hears the cries of the people, and they fixed and innovated a product. So pretty happy with that. Anyway, that was my bonus content. Thank you guys for sticking around. If you like what you saw, please hit that like button. It juices the algorithm. If you really like what you saw, please subscribe. We're knocking on the door of 800, which is mind-boggling to me for an idiot talking about bikes. And then if you really feel like you just want to buy your boy a cup of coffee or some other zesty beverage, there's that super thanks button. It's the big heart-shaped button there. You click that and you can throw a couple ducats your boy's way for a zesty drink of your choice. And I will drink it. So that's it. Be safe, take care of each other, and I'll catch you in the next video. Until then, Salty Flyer. Peace.